Hello everyone. So this is going to be a series of making a game, making a game app, so that we could play it on the phone. So the game we're going to put it online is called Avalon. So it's also called Resistance. So if any of you haven't heard of it, feel free to pause the video and go Google it. Um, so this series is I tend to also treat it as a um, tutorial, a intro to how to from scratch design, develop, deploy, and maintain a full stack application, uh, which also leverage cloud technology. So yeah, let's see how it goes and many series. Um, yeah, let's begin. So so I so first of all, so okay, before we even start, let me put some let me lay some ground. So I think many of the programming tutorials often just dive right into writing programs. Um, it looks cool. It catches the eyes, but contrary to many people would think, actually writing code only takes a very small portion of a software engineer's time or daytime at work. So majority of the time, software engineers actually have to go um, figure out what is not working, find out. Well, first of all, I think it's figure out a problem, figure out a pain point which can be fixed or improved by computers, by programs, and then they spend they spend a lot of time on investigating to actually make these things clear, like who 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 is like which people are in this problem and what's the root cause of this problem. What particular problem are we going to solve and how are we going to solve it, and then write a design doc, um, go review it multiple times, go through the what we call agile methodologies, basically split this one huge project into small tasks, and then only then they pick up a small task and start to write code. Writing code is easy. I mean, anyone who takes about a couple weeks of uh, online course can start to write code. It's not that complicated. And I think what makes senior developer more productive and more efficient than junior developer is not only that they know the technologies, they know their tools better, but I think is that they have the big picture. They actually are really more willing to spend time on non-code writing tasks to make sure that from the very beginning they're on the right direction, they are talking to the right people, they're um, fixing the right problem using the right tool. Um, so that's why that's why I think the senior developers are way more productive and feels like um, they're they're delivering amazing uh, code or products in such a short time, and they run so stably. Um, so okay, with all this being said, I think I'm just trying to justify or convey the idea that this whole series, I think, we will not be so focused on just writing code, but we are going to do the whole thing. So the very from the beginning, from the very idea until we deliver something online so that people can actually use. Okay, okay, I've been blabbing for very long, so yeah, so let's get started. So, okay, now I assume everybody already knows what Avalon game is. So, okay, so let's just write down what are we going to do. So first of all, I think so this is going to be basically a mind map or design doc per se of what are we going to do. So so first of all, we're going to another thing, documentation. Even though everybody already knows what this Avalon game is, we're still going to write it down. Documentation is a huge part, is a vital part of a software project. Many people have the wrong idea of software is it's just a piece of code. Once you write it, it's going to run forever. I think it's a very common misunderstanding or of what a software is. To me, I always thought software is more like a living mechanism rather than a dead thing, because essentially it is ideas and logic which are pure abstract and put into reality. So without documentation, it's very hard for other people, or even yourself in a couple of months in the future, to really understand what were you thinking. And there's a joke about a developer's biggest enemy is himself a couple of weeks ago. So in this series, we're going to be very diligent on how are we going to approach this project. I'm going to treat this as a project at work. I'm going to write down everything so that myself and other people can understand. Again, back to the very beginning, what's the background? What kind of a pain point do we have? How are we going to fix it? And what problem do we have, and how are we going to fix it? And we're going to write down everything, put it together, and so that other people and ourselves can remember and can pick this up easily. Okay, let's really get started this time. So, Avalon game. What are we going to do? We are going to write down first what is the background. Why I want to why do I want to make this project? And then the problem statement. What issue do I encounter which I hope can be solved by a piece of software. And then we're going to write down the game rules, like what or game rules of detail, like because we'll have to actually implement all this logic, and without writing it down, it can be very easily missing something or make a mistake. So once we have all these, only then we're going to dive deep into the more technical stuff. And here I want to add something. So in Uncle Bob's Clean Coder, he mentioned that many junior developers have this illusion or habit of diving directly into technical stuff in the very beginning, like decide what programming language they're going to use, what database they're going to use, where all sorts of very detailed technical details. But let's circle back to but let's really think about what are we trying to do here. We're trying to write a software, trying to write a piece of software which solves real world problems. And the goal of a piece of software is to solve problems, not be a cool piece of software itself. So everything should serve the real problem instead of so it's not the other way around. Not because we have a database, so we decide to save data. It's the other way around, because we have lots of data needs to be saved. That's why we developed a database, for example. So that's why all these parts are so important, that only after we take a very, very close look at the problem, we can only then start to even think about use software to fix or make people's life easier in this particular case. Okay, so I'm just gonna write down technical breakdown. So what are we going to do here? And then we'll have to after the technical breakdown. So basically this is a technical design. After the technical design, we're going to do task breakdown. With a task breakdown, we can then come up with a schedule and all sorts of stuff. Okay, so let's start the background. So background. So this is a game. So Avalon is a cool game. For multiple participants. So I'm gonna very briefly I'm gonna very briefly explain what this game is. For multiple participants, we have actually no. The background is okay. So imagine someone who has no idea what are we doing here to jump in, and the first sentence, like the first few sentences, should let them know why are we doing this. So yeah, Avalon is a multiplayer board game. We are it takes there can be 5 to 10. Each player gets their the number of players the 10. Yeah. Right, stop there. 10 now. We're to 10 and are divided into 2 teams. The good and the evil. The goal of this game is to win to win 3 out of 5 missions. 3 out of 5 missions and missions to win a mission. Okay, I think I definitely should improve this part. I don't like this. I'll spend some time offline to actually make it better. So problem statement. So this is a huge problem. So so this is a pain point. Why are we doing this? What made this project meaningful? Yeah, so I think this is I think it's the most important part of design doc. What problem are we solving and why are we solving it? So because there are many players in the game, often they leave their spot and causing the game to pause. This okay, the problem actually is multiple fold. So so this is the first part. There are many players in the game. Often they leave their spot and causing the game to pause. It's yeah, it so we are trying to make it that when people are not in their seat, i.e. in the washroom, they can still continue to participate in the game. Okay, so I think this is the very first problem. The second problem is that it is very hard to get 10 people sitting in the same room for extended period of time. So with to move this online, we friends can play this game even if they are not, um, even if they are not together, physically together. And plus this could also help the players to record who voted uh, who record players vote and nominations, which can make the game more interesting. Okay. Again, I think I'll have to improve this. This is just a so I'm speaking while typing. So this is definitely not my best work. I'll improve it offline. But I think these are the three biggest problems. So the first one is when 10 people sitting down together, like everybody suddenly has something to do. Like they're going to get water, someone goes to the washroom, another person's kid is yelling now, and then somebody got a phone call. So it's super annoying and it breaks the rhythm. So with this, we could with this they could just so they don't have to listen to the game master for what they need to do now. So they can we can have a piece of software ideally on the screen to tell them what you have to do now. Either you are going to vote or you are going to nominate someone. Yeah, and that's basically it. That's what players do in this game. And another thing is it's it's very hard to actually getting people to sit in the same room. Imagine like how with our busy lives, it's almost it can take months to actually organize some kind of a game session like this, and once we put it online, we can play game asynchronously. Like we can each have our own phone and just type down what is going on. The game master is taking care by this project, so that we could still keep in touch with our friends, even if we're not physically together. And the last one is, so this game involves lots of voting, nomination, and actually who voted for whom is one of the not one of the so is the way of determining who's in the good team and who's in the bad team. Without writing things down, I think people with more with a better memory, or knowing each other for a longer period of time, which can read each other's face, have this almost on have this advantage over other people. So now if we actually have a piece of software can record this, can just show everybody all this information, I think we can even the odds and make the game even more intense. Okay, so with all this being said, we're going to write down the rules. Again, so this game is already there. Why can't we just put in the link and say, okay, these are the rules and we're going to just abide by this? And I think it's very important in two ways. For two reasons. First of all, we want to write things down, take a very close look at how this game from the beginning to the end, how does it work? Um, this helps us to, this forces us to dive deep into the problem and break down each piece. Um, on the and then another problem is, like, imagine this is a real, well, this is a real world project. Imagine this is at work. So after a couple of months or a couple of years, people would wonder. Um, People come in, they need background, and they're gonna open your code base and try to read it and then add or um, make some changes to it. It is vital to provide them as much information as possible of why did we um, design or implement something in a particular way. With all the so keep all the facts, keep all the rules, basically what we consider in the central place for other people to read, to go through in the future. I think it's another very good reason why we want to go through the game rules ourselves. Okay, with that being said, let's begin. So I'm going to, so I actually, so even though I know we're gonna write this down, but to help people, we are just going to give them a link of where they can find online, like they can do their own reading. But for us, we're still gonna write things down. So before the game start, the game master not the game master, players agree to some details, including whether to include Avalon. I swear, so this is one of the characters. I'll explain what does this character does later. Whether to allow assassination. Again, I'll explain. And the third, how many assassination opportunities the evil team gets. And there could be others, but this is what we do for now. And then the players each get their own role. The roles are, again, we have two teams, the good and the evil. In the good teams, we have Merlin, we have Percival, we have regular villagers. Well, we can call them servants of Merlin, but the thing is, yeah. Anyway, I'll explain after I write down every characters. And the evil team has more people. We have Mordred, we have Morgana, we have the assassin, and we have Oberon. Okay, so each, so AKA Service of Merlin can have multiple. Okay, so and then players get to know their teammates. So who knows whom? So for Merlin, he knows who. He knows Percival and Morgana, but he doesn't know. So basically, what Merlin knows is Merlin knows two players who are either Percival or Morgana, but doesn't know who is know these players' role exactly. Percival knows actually Merlin does not know more Merlin knows everyone. Merlin knows who Percival is. Merlin knows who Morgana is. Morgana, assassin. Yeah, Percival knows players who are Merlin or Morgana, but not knowing who's who exactly. Villagers know nothing. They know absolutely nothing. Mordred knows their own team. Morgana knows their own team. Assassin knows their own team. And Oberon knows himself. Nobody knows Oberon. Okay, then the game starts. Once the game gets started, people knows their own role. People knows their own role and knows their teammates, and we're gonna start to play. First of all, player. Okay, game starts. There are 5 missions. So first mission, second, third, fourth, and fifth. So the first mission, a player nominates 3 candidates. Then 3 candidates. Keeping in mind that the number of nominees can change according to how many the number of players. Um, a player nominees. So this player is either the winner, the player got Merlin card last round, or a random person. Okay, so once the 3 candidates are nominated, all players vote. So now we have a branch. So if it passes, well, okay, if it doesn't pass, then the next players, then the next player going to, so we go back to step 1. A player going to player nominates 3 candidates and continue the process. But if so, vote for nomination. What dictates this this nomination is successful or not? Basically, we if passes, if majority of players vote for, vote yes, or else does not pass. So if not pass, next player going to nominate 3 candidates, and if it passes, the 3 nominees are going to vote for mission 1. If even one nominee votes fail, this mission fails. Yeah. Okay, so it's actually the same thing goes on 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th round. It's the same logic, only 2nd round we get to vote for 3 nominees. The 3rd round the 3rd round we get also 4. The 4th round we got 5 nominees, but need 2 fails to fail the mission. This is the only one though. And the 5th we have the 5th we also nominate 5 nominees, and 5 nominees, and also the mission fails if even we get 1 fail. So, and then game ends. The evil team gets, well, if it is agreed in the beginning before game started. Evil team gets to assassin a player from the good team, and so okay, man. So first of all, if less than 3 mission, well, if more than 3 missions failed, the evil team wins. If more than 3 missions succeeded, then depends if before that, if assassination was agreed before the game started, the evil team gets to assassinate a player from the good team. And if the assassination target is Merlin, then the evil team still wins. And only then the good team wins. Okay, so I've been blabbing for very long, so let me recap it. How this game works is that in the very beginning, we all sit down together, we all get our card, we see our own role without telling other people. And also, what I said here is very important that we need to put it in the document. So I am going to add to it later and even put it in the code base. But it's pretty hard for me to type while speaking, so bear with me. So yeah, okay, let me verbally just go through everything. So before the game starts, we all get our so first we are going to agree on game rules if we have Avalon, because normally we only have Avalon if we have 10 players. Less than 10, it's going to be very hard. It doesn't make sense. It gives the evil team an uneven advantage. Whether to allow assassination and how many assassinations do the evil team get. Again, this depends on who are participating. Some people are very good at this game and gives the evil team again an uneven advantage, which makes the game pretty boring. So sometimes we give the evil team more than one assassination chance. Okay, so each player gets their own role without, of course, telling each other. So we can have all these roles: Merlin, Percival, villagers, who basically don't know anything. They're the good team. If the good team loses, they lose. If the good team wins, they win, but they know absolutely nothing. And the evil team, we have Mordred, Morgana, Assassin, and Oberon technically is the evil team, but he doesn't know anyone and nobody knows him. So this is a very unique character. So we get our own role, and before the game even starts, each players are going to get to know their own teammates. So basically, it's their own knowledge without other people. So everybody basically has different knowledge. So let's go through it. Merlin knows who. Merlin knows who Percival is. Percival. and evil teams, including Morgana and Assassin. But the important part is Merlin doesn't know who is Morgana and who's the assassin. And also it doesn't matter because in the game they don't really have different capabilities, and basically they have their Morgana and the assassin has the same exact knowledge, so it doesn't really matter to differentiate. The only reason we have two names for this is because if we do have assassin, the evil team gets to assassinate a player from the good team after the game ended. So Merlin knows who the Percival is, who's Morgana, who's the assassin, and Percival knows two players. He sees Percival sees Merlin and Morgana, but Percival does not know who's who. So he doesn't. The player with Percival role does not know the two players he sees. Which player is in the good team, which one is in the evil team, and this is the fun part of it. He has to figure out by himself. Villagers know nothing. Mordred knows his own team. Morgana knows his own team, and Assassin knows his own team. Mordred, Morgana, and Assassin sees each other. So that's why. So they see each other, and in the game of people not knowing other people's role, the evil team actually has a pretty huge advantage. And then it's Oberon. Oberon doesn't know anyone. He only knows himself. All he knows is it's actually a very interesting role. He needs to just sabotage everything. So it's actually quite funny to see two fails in the mission, and we know like one of them is Oberon. Okay, so we see our own role, we know our teammates, then the game starts. So the first mission, so one player nominates 3 person, says, okay, I want these 3 people to be vote on this mission, and these 3 candidates are being voted by all the players. So if majority of the player vote yes, then this nomination actually passes. Then these 3 players get to vote on this particular mission. And hopefully none of them votes fail. If everybody votes pass, then this mission is succeed, and if even one person votes fail, this mission fails. But if this nomination, these 3 candidates are not passed by majority of the players, then the next player, by the way, it's a round table, so the next player gets to nominate another his own choosing of 3 candidates for people to vote. And the thing is, so if the 5th nomination still fails, evil team automatically wins. So that means it can never be an infinite loop. For each mission there can only be 5 rounds of a nomination, normally people would just pass automatically on the 5th round, but I myself have never seen in real life fifth round fails, because when people sit together, of course they're going to uh, well, it doesn't make sense for anyone to fail the fifth mission. It's like it's too obvious. So basically, this is how a mission goes, and it goes the same. So in total, we have 5 missions. It follows the same pattern with some small tweaks. So, for example, the second round we have 4 nominees. The third round we have 4 nominees, but the fourth round we get people have to nominate 5 nominees, but needs 2 fails to fail this mission. Then on the fifth round, we get 5 nominees, but like so a fourth mission is the only one which needs 2 fails to fail the mission. The first, the second, the third, and the fifth all just need 1 fail just to fail the whole mission. Okay, now we have 3 succeeded missions or 3 failed missions. Then the game simply ends. So after the game ends, if we have 3 failed missions, the evil team automatically wins. But now if we have 3 succeeded missions, we have to go back and see if in the beginning or before the beginning we agreed if there are assassins in the game. So if there's no assassins, again the good team wins, and if there is assassination allowed, the evil team gets to assassinate a player from the good team. And if the target is Merlin, the evil team still wins. And if they exhausted their chances of assassination and still didn't get Merlin, the good team wins. And of course, depends on the number of players, the number of nominees in this game. In the game changes, so we'll have to keep that in mind. Okay, actually, let's add some notes here. Number of nominees changes when number of nominees changes according to the total number of players. Different sources. So yeah, this is another thing we need to consider, because online there are many rules, but they all just gave very different ideas. So for example, so let's just put that rules need to be configurable. For example, number of players each round, we could provide a default value and allow players to change it, and who knows whom. For example, so in some rules, they're gonna say, okay, Merlin knows, like for example, Mordred. I read this a long time ago, but I can't say for sure. But the thing is, who knows whom. Different people have different preferences, and maybe they want to balance the game their own way. So so we also have to keep in mind that this needs to be configurable. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So the first session, not one single line of code written, and I expect this to last for another couple of round. Yeah, for another, I think, another couple of days. I think it's going to be quite some time before we actually can sit down writing code, which this does. By the way, I hope this doesn't disappoint any of you, but this does reflect real life. Before we even sit down to write code, there are many work to be done. So this is just writing down the again, what did we do today? We saw the background, we defined the problem, and we reviewed what the game rules are, which is the actual problem. So in the next video, we're going to actually to break this down technically and to have a high level design of how things are. Yeah, okay, just to recap, I think a couple of things I really want to recap. I really want to read down writing code is only 20% of a developer's work or time. Documentation is vital, especially background and problem statement. This is often at least overlooked. And the third, focus on the problem rather than the technical details, Uncle Bob. Okay, so first video, I think I went okay. Let's see how it goes. Thank you everyone. See you next time. Bye.